Hey, we're back. Oh my gosh, that is some energy.
Best one ever.
Yeah,
Trying to step it up. Back.
So Andrew is back from his run through the Midwest.
My run through the Midwest. Got the runs from a runza and the run on the Midwest. You never told me
Did you
about.
have a runza?
No. The guy, that was a lie. Immediate lie. I was told about the runza, and then there's the comedian who's opening for me named Zach went to but they have the runza is a type of food, but also is a fast food place where they sell them, right?
Yes, yes, I think
So he
it's
went
the place
to
first, and they sell runzas at the runza.
Oh, okay. So he went to Runza, the place, and he was like, it was not very good, according to him. But then he was like, well, maybe it's better. Maybe they do Runzas other places and they make them better. You make them homemade or something. Is that possible?
Well, that seems fishy. That's like being like, well, we serve lasagna at lasagna, but other places make lasagna better.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking, but I was trying to give the region the benefit of the doubt, but
no. Well, for our listeners, if you don't know, basically, it's a runza is like it's like a cream-filled donut, but instead of cream, it's chili, and instead of donut, it's like a sealed hot dog bun.
Yeah,
like a loaf of bread with chili in the middle.
And you can put other stuff. It's right, like you can get different. They do variations of it, maybe or no.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't like them.
Anyway. No, it was good. It was good. We went to I'm sure all places you know pretty well, Omaha, and we had good turnouts, I'd say, in Kansas City and in Lincoln, which not surprisingly, those were the Friday Saturday shows, and like lighter turnouts on the Omaha and Wichita days, which again were Thursday Sunday. So got a little aggressive there. Probably should have just stuck to Friday Saturday, but you know what? We had fun.
That's what matters.
Because we should just say it right off the top. Because I went to Wichita on Sunday, I got to meet in person the #1 cavalry fan of all time, Mr. Kyle McClure. And not only did Kyle come, he wore his cavalry shirt. He brought I think his brother and maybe another friend, and then his parents. And his mom made me cinnamon rolls, the most delicious homemade cinnamon rolls you've ever had. So how about that?
Did he watch you eat them?
No, I did not eat them during the performance, but I did eat them the next morning. And Ginger's had some too, since I actually brought them home because there was like so many of them. So, and they're amazing.
Nice.
So
you flew with them?
Cool. Huh? Yeah, I flew with them.
You flew with them?
I was like, what's your policy on that? Because we talked about this before, like giving gifts to flight attendants and how lame that is. I mean, it's nice if you're doing it completely. And I really was thinking, like, okay, well, here's a situation where, like, Heidi, I think there's probably dairy in these, so like Heidi can't eat these. Like, there's no way. Like, one is like so rich, and there's like 6 of these giant cinnamon rolls, So it's like, I can't eat all these, So I was like, I should give them to the flight attendant. But then they're not like, they're homemade, which is amazing, but they don't know who I am. Like, would you, if you were a flight attendant, would you just some weird guy's like, hey, have a roll, And it's not sealed.
I would be 99% sure that there was semen hidden inside the cinnamon roll.
Right. They don't know it comes from Kyle's wholesome mom,
Right.
Anyway,
right.
So that was pretty cool. He also brought like headshots of me to sign,
Yeah.
Which was very nice. And then he brought one, and it's my new one. It's like one of my new ones, and I was like, I don't know if that's the picture I should have picked because I've never seen it like blown up in the actual 8x10,
Is it the one where you're like this?
No, which is another one I gotta change. I don't like that. The more I look at that, I was like, what is this? The 80s, It's horrible. And then this one that he picked, I kind of have a weird expression on my face. I can't make it right now, but so
was his cavalry shirt was it a Patreon one that like you get after so many months, or how? Where did
I have
you get
no
that?
idea. It's this logo, but he also brought printed out pictures of every iteration of the Cavalry logo. So he brought like the OG one that we did on Fiverr or whatever, and then he brought the one after that, and then this one. Yeah, the one of us on the horse.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's pretty great.
That's great.
Yeah, that was good. And then this is what I wanted to talk about too. And then but like so I was in I sell these handkerchiefs, after the show. And then in the Kansas City show, we had a really good turnout. So they wanted to raffle off stuff. And they're like, can we raffle off one of your handkerchiefs? Sure. And I was like, sure. Yeah, of course. And so then afterward, this lady, I'm setting up, about to sell. And this woman, she's like in her 50s or something. And she comes running in. And she's like, oh my gosh, I was one number off on the raffle. And it's my husband's 50th birthday, and he really wanted to win. I was like, oh man, one number off, huh? She goes, yeah, just one number. And she's just like hesitating, like, well, they're $15, And she's like, oh, okay. It's his 50th. It just keeps piling on. She's like, it's his 50th birthday, and we're only one number off. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of how the raffle works. I mean, first of all, everybody was probably like maybe 2 or 3 numbers off, because that's like they always have the same 6 numbers to start. And then also like, okay, it's your husband. Then later I was like, should I have given her a free one? And I was like, no, it's her husband's 50th birthday. Why is that on me to get him a present? You buy him it's $15. It's his 50th birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
Splurge.
All right, everybody, I'm going to read the numbers. So if you have this number or one above or one below, make a stink.
You can't do that for Powerball. You can't like go, just give me like 300 grand. I was like one number off.
I think they do actually.
Oh, do they give you money for?
Well, you get something for having, 5 out of
being close. I didn't know that. Well, that lady was right. Should have gotten a free handkerchief, and I take it all back. No, I don't. I really was like annoyed by that. I was like,
I would be too.
Why should I have to give you? Why am I getting guilt tripped here?
That's on her.
It's your husband's 50th birthday. Buy him a freaking handkerchief.
Exactly.
That's what you do for your husband on his 50th birthday. You're like, hey, I'm gonna enter you in a raffle. Now there's a 1 in about 150 chance you're gonna get a present. Happy birthday.
And there's a 3 in 150 chance I'm gonna make a stink about
it. Right. If we get close, I'm gonna just lean on this guy. Watch this.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I'm trying to think of anything else that happened.
My show when I was in where was I? Delafield. I was going to text you a picture of the parking lot because it was very, very light.
Oh yeah.
And as these ladies were walking in, they were laughing so hard, like hysterically hard. And I was like, what's going on with these ladies? They're already in the mood.
Yeah.
And the one lady turns to the other and she's like, oh my God, she just texted me and she said, are we going to have a problem parking when we get there? And they were just laughing. I was like, oh,
oh my gosh. Yeah, man.
Ladies. It's not that funny.
Oh, this is my life.
This is my livelihood.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, it is a whole nother level. So like all these shows were like what we've talked about, where, I need to sell tickets to make money. There's no other way for me. There's no guarantees. It's all door deal, right? So that is just a whole nother level of sweat that no one's going to be there, because I've gotten pretty good at not letting it get to me. Like if it's like, oh, we got a small crowd, we got a big crowd, it's sold out, it's half full. I'm like, hey man, we'll have fun. I'll give them a show. No big deal.
Wait, are you saying this is even when your butt's on the line?
No. I'm saying in general, because most of the time, especially up until recently, I haven't been doing this. I'm still pretty
Right.
new to this idea of like doing these door deals, you know. And
Yeah.
so, man, when it's light and it's like 2 hours before the show, you're just looking at everybody's like, well, did you put out the flyers? Did you put the sign up? Where have you been? Are we gonna get out? Let's go. Let's get in the parking lot. Let's start talking to people. Let's start barking people in. You know, you turn into
Yeah.
this insane promoter that you never wanted to be. You know,
Yeah.
I was like just coming up with anything I could think of. But there was one, and like on Sunday in Wichita, like they didn't have like this, like there was no sign up, or there's no way you would have known that there was. I'm like, it just kills you because you're like, man, that's like a whole weekend's worth of people that would have driven by and seen like
Yeah.
comedy, at least just not even my name, but just like comedy on Sunday. You know, you
Comedy
probably
show.
sell a
Yeah.
couple tickets that way, but
Ah.
yeah. So my here's my PSA to everyone listening out there. Just if you think you want to go to something, just buy the tickets early. Just get them.
Yeah.
And then okay, so then what's the risk, right? You're like, well, what if I don't want to go? You good, you'll go because you have the tickets, and then you'll feel better about it than if you'd stayed home. Because if you didn't buy the tickets and then you get to the night, you're like, should we go? Let's stay in. And then that's resistance. It's like the same thing like going to the gym or going for a run or something. If you'd already bought
Yeah.
the marathon, if you'd already paid for the marathon, you're gonna run the marathon, you know, and then you'll be happy
Yep.
you did later. But if you just leave it up to that night, you're not gonna go. So buy the tickets early. You're gonna make everyone's life so much easier.
You're
Comedians
gonna
will
make the
sleep
artists
better.
stay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. So, but it was fun. It was really fun. I you know, I don't know. It was really like I liked all those. I liked Lincoln. Lincoln and Wichita were cool. I want to go back. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Lincoln's fun.
I didn't really go into Kansas City. We just went to like this one was in the suburbs on the Kansas side, so it was like I didn't really see much of the actual city.
Oh, I may be doing that same Kansas City gig in October.
Yeah, that's right. Zach was talking about you. So you
Yeah.
can go. Can you drive? Like, is that how far is that for you?
I have absolutely no idea. It's
Okay.
probably, I don't know, 9 hours maybe.
Oh God. Okay.
What day of the week is? Oh yeah, it would be on a Friday. So yeah, I don't know. I'd probably drive it, see some family, and then drive home. Because I think it's like it's 3 hours from Omaha, right? Didn't you do that?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, how was
Yeah.
your weekend, dude? Other than people making fun of you in the parking lot.
It, that was that show was fun. I'm just excited. So that I don't think we talked about it last week, but I sold the Prius.
Oh yes. Who
Did we
bought
talk
it?
about it?
No.
Huh? Oh my
I know it's
gosh.
for
I
sale.
I hate selling. Yeah, I hate selling cars.
But you did
I
it
hate
all
it.
on your own. You did it through like
Did it
what?
all on my own Facebook
Craigslist?
Marketplace.
Oh,
Yep. No, just Facebook Marketplace. I met one lady. Oh my gosh. This lady, she wants to test drive it. So I meet her and oh my God, I don't know if she knew how to drive or what, but she scared the shit out of me. She was driving like an idiot. She was almost hitting cars in the park spot. And then so she's driving around the parking lot and the street. She backs into the parking space. And then, Priuses are a little different. Like you got to push a button to park.
yeah,
There's
right,
no
right.
gear thing. She just puts it in reverse, starts talking to me as the car is going back. And I was like, basically I got to grab her knee and push it down. Like, oh, you got to hit the button. You got to put it, it's not in park. And she's like,
Yeah.
what? Oh, that was terrifying. And then, we're like, all right, well, let me know. And then she like texted me or she messaged on Facebook, right? Like, the next morning, I'm going to pass on the car. Thanks. All right, whatever. But then I had this couple. They were like, oh, we want to test drive it. We just want to see it. And they met me at the grocery store by the house because I don't want anyone to know where I live. And they were like, they were super sweet, great people, very kind, terrible negotiators.
Oh yeah.
Well, I was asking 10.
Right.
We're asking 10. she goes, all right, so now I'm gonna ask if you'll take 9, and then you're gonna say 9,500. So would you just take 9,500? And I said, how about 98? and, and she took 98.
Like, lady,
I know I'm not sticking to the script, lady, but
you kind of, you just, I love how she thought she was like cutting through the whole, and that's just genius. But it's genius by you, because you know what I would have done? I'm so bad. I would have just gone, okay, that's fine, you know. But
yeah,
that's just so funny. It's like, all right, well, let's play the game again then. But then she should have said 9,700, and then you would have probably said yes, you know.
yeah.
Uh, that's really funny.
But the thing was like they paid cash, so it's like I knew they had, they had
Yeah.
10. I mean, I should have just been like,
Like,
my wife's not letting me. We got a bunch of things
or
lined up. But I
I
was
always
just like,
say, yeah, a bunch of other people are coming to look at it, and I think they're gonna pay the full freight. So it's like, I know it doesn't sound like much, but that's $500. You know, like I'm not gonna. It's a lot of money,
yeah,
but good for you.
yeah,
You gave them
exactly.
the deal. Come on down to Honest Johnny's. Get you a deal.
Honest Johnny.
Use Prius.
That's
Grocery
right.
store. Oh man, so you just
Yeah.
had like 10 grand cash in your pocket?
Yeah, I have a bunch of
Crazy.
pictures on my phone of the kids like holding it, and Duncan's like,
Was it
"Woo-hoo."
was it in 20s, or like did she have like hundreds
No,
or
it was in $100 bills.
whoa, that's so fun.
I know. And like, I mean, I deposited that. Actually, I took it to the bank because I was like, I don't want to even make a deposit of 10,000 because I don't want them to be like, "Where's this money coming from? You got to
Right.
verify or whatever." So I was just like, "Can you take this cash and put it directly on the car loan for this other?"
Oh,
So
you went to the
that's what
bank
we
and
did.
just paid off. I see.
Just put it towards the new
Yeah.
car. But yeah, the kid Duncan really doesn't understand. He's like, "You're giving it to the bank. You're giving them all the money to the why?" I was like, "Well, we owe them
Right.
20, so this is gonna make
Right.
it. We
No,
just give
he's
them
right.
10. Then
He's right. What?
but
They don't, why do they need it? They're the bank. They don't need any more of this. We need it.
um, yeah, there's really no explaining it to him.
I remember when we bought this house, I went we had like all this work being done. We had like a lot of money in our bank account because we had money like that we had set aside for a down payment, but then they always tell you like don't uh spend it all on the down payment. You want to keep a little bit for like repairs or emergencies, or like if the
Yeah,
something at the last. So we had like a ton of cash in our savings account or whatever. And
yeah,
so we were getting some work done. There's these plumbers or something, I forget. And they're like, hey, we do like a pretty healthy, like a 5 or 10% cash discount, if you can pay in cash.
yeah,
But it was like, I think it was like 13 grand worth of work. So it was like a lot. You're going to save a lot. And I was like, well, we have like, I could just run down to the bank. Like I don't,
yeah.
you can't pull it out of the ATM, but if I can go into the bank, they might give it to
Yeah, you
me,
would save like what, $1,300,
Right.
right?
Yeah. So I did it. But I walked. I wasn't thinking. Our bank's probably like a 10-minute walk, maybe 5 or 10 minute walk from here.
Yeah,
So it's not a big deal. So in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just walk to the bank. But then I had to walk home with like 13 grand in my pocket. It's like the
yeah.
craziest feeling, And you're just everyone you look at, you're like, why so close? Back up, back up, back up. Some little old lady.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Oh
man,
man.
I was thinking about like, what if I got robbed? And the guy was like, I'm just gonna take this idiot's cell phone or something. And then I was just like, and then I happened to be the one guy with 13 grand in his pocket, the luckiest robber in the world.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
Anyway,
I left it. Yeah, that 10 grand. I left it in the car while I ran into the grocery store.
On
Because
the
I was
seat?
like, I don't want it falling out of my pocket in the grocery store. So
Did
like,
you
oh, I'll stick it in the car.
did you put it in the glove
So
box or anything?
I put it in the like the the pocket behind the driver's seat.
Oh, okay. That's actually pretty
That'd be
smart.
another one. Like someone breaks
People don't look in
in
there.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but the Prius is
Yeah.
gone, huh?
No more Prius.
We were Prius brothers for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You still got your Prius?
Oh yeah, we got it.
Oh yeah.
I'll die in that thing.
We, we could still be hybrid brothers.
No, that's not the
Is
same.
that the same?
It's not the same because
That's the
Prius
same.
uniquely gets hatred from the
That's
outside
true.
world. Like you could be a
UV. Nobody cares, you
Oh,
know.
you switched.
I know. I was trying to plug in my computer. Hang on. You talk about something for.
All right. So I let out this big fart the other day and it was really stinky. I wish you were there. Are you back? Are we plugged back in?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, that's my story. All right, now your turn. I
Wow.
got this light has been flickering the whole time. 1 second.
Professional podcaster Johnny Beaner. It's only been what are we up to? Like this is gonna be year 4 or year 5. I ask you to vamp.
Year 4 is today. This is the
this is year 4
anniversary. Yeah, this is 208.
That's how we got to it.
Oh my gosh.
That's how we got to our 4-year anniversary is me making fun of you for being bad at this because I asked you to vamp for 10 seconds and you come up with I had a stinky fart.
I knew you were going to be quick. I didn't have time for the full arc of the story.
No, I know. Yeah, 4 years. Whoa.
I know. I can't
believe it.
Can't believe it.
And that is a milestone, a bunch of milestones. Because that Kyle coming to the show, that's the first time I've ever had someone come to the show just from the podcast, and then also like wearing the shirt like hardcore like that. It's a lot of milestones.
That's hardcore.
Very hardcore.
I did have when I did that show in St. Cloud or St. Paul. I had that friend of my brother's that listens to the podcast come.
Yeah, well, that counts.
That counts. Sure.
That counts. Yeah. Podcast guys, 4 years. Never missed a week.
Never missed a week. We are.
I know I brag about that a lot, but you know, a lot of these podcasts, and some of them more successful than ours, they take time off. They're losers.
Not the cavalry. They're the real deal.
Yeah, that's
We're out there in the world, shaking hands,
kissing babies,
grassroots, kissing babies,
grassroots.
Should we get into topics?
Topics, my friend. You?
Topics, my friend.
Topics, my friend. Should you go first? You want me to go first?
Topics, my friend. Topics, my friend. Yes, I'll go first.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So let's see. How old is Ginger? Ginger is in preschool still, I imagine.
Yeah. She's 3.
Is it preschool or is it daycare?
It's daycare. I think you'd call this daycare. This fall will be preschool.
Okay.
She's gonna be moving.
Okay, so then you're not there yet, but basically in a nutshell, this is my topic. We could go ahead and just eliminate all parent-teacher conferences until, I don't know, 4th grade, 5th grade, because before that, who gives a shit? Like Erin's Erin's at work. She's got to take off. Like where people take off work to go to these. It's like, okay, she's got to work on her ovals. Okay, thank you.
Right.
Like,
or like if it's really a problem, like if like at that age, we don't have to check in on all the kids. Like maybe there's 1 kid or 2 kids who are like starting fires in the corner. It's like, yeah, we gotta have a meeting about this, you know?
Yeah.
But then we'll have that meeting. They should be as necessary
because of that.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this whole, all right, hold on, which kids? Okay, so let me get Phoebe's folder out. Here we go. Here's a bunch of coloring pictures and a bunch of scribbled ABCs. Like, she's doing.
Did your kids ever go to any like Montessori schools or preschools? Do you remember?
I don't think the LA one. It wasn't Montessori. They did the dual language.
Yeah,
and they did.
language
They did
immersion.
like the butterfly garden. It was like a Montessori type kindergarten before they went to their dual language.
So
whatever.
Heidi, so we're right now we're like, there's one preschool we like that's close, but you have to pay. But there's also these ones that could be free. So we're like looking at these ones that would be like the city would pay for if we qualify for. So it's like we're just like trying to cover all our bases. And so
Yeah.
Heidi went and looked at this one, and it's French immersion preschool, and it's Montessori. But like then like Heidi had heard this thing where it was like oh do you guys like let them like play make believe, or you let them like, and then like, no, we don't believe in like false play or like fantasy play. Like, so if they're like, I'm a fairy, they just like,
Montessori?
yeah. If they're like, if I'm a fairy, they could say like, I'm a fairy. Like, no, actually fairies aren't real. Like they literally do. It's like, and they're like, why? Heidi was like, why, and then because we had heard that before about some of these schools,
Yeah.
and they were like, well, it's just confusing for the kid. I was like, how dumb do you think these kids are? It's not like my daughter thinks she's really a cat. Like, I'm a cat, meow meow meow. It's like, no, Ginger, oh my god, you're not a cat. You're snap out of it. You're like shaking her shoulders.
Snap out of it.
No, what are you, insane? You're like calling 911. You're like, send the white coats and the padded truck over. My daughter's got to go to the asylum. She thinks she's a cat. So it's just, I don't know. I think these preschools are trying too hard. And my theory is like this, they're Montessori, because we looked it up. It's like a lady. It was just some lady, like Melissa Montessori or something like that. And she just
They're
has
expensive, right? Aren't the Montessori's expensive?
Well, yeah, I mean, but then this one it's weird because like then this one would actually be free for us. But yeah, I think typically they can be expensive. But then like my theory is like, this is just some lady's idea how to do it. Like, why do we give it so much credence?
Yeah.
It was just one person who's like, I think should be all wood blocks and they can't pretend they're fairies, But then it's just because her name is interesting. I swear it's that. Her name sounds
Montessori.
Montessori. If her name was like Williams, you wouldn't be like, oh, we got her in a Williams school. Like nobody would care, I swear
that's a good point.
Yeah,
Montessori. That is a artistic, sophisticated name. Sounds artsy.
But yeah, and then
I thought the whole thing was the opposite. I thought they were supposed to be like, oh, we are fairies here.
No, I know that's like counterintuitive because you're like they're so hippy dippy, you'd think they'd be into it, but they don't encourage fantasy play. There's the Waldorf schools, which one of Heidi's friends' kids goes to, and they're the opposite. They're also like anti-screen or plastic or any of that, but then they're also like not big on like reading or math. But then, but they're more into like they'll do all the crazy, like put on plays and shows.
I thought the Waldorf was a Montessori school. No,
I don't know. Now we're getting out of my depth. I've given you all the information that I've acquired,
and we're done talking about it because we've reached the point where neither of us know anything else.
Well, if we ever let that stop us, they would all be 20-minute podcasts. We didn't make it 4 years talking about things we only know about.
That's right. So you back me up though.
I'm backing you up. It's I think just even to take your thing and make it bigger, like people put way too much on this preschool. Like just the fact that they're at a place learning to just be around other kids.
Yep. And they're safe.
Not like hit each other, but get along, learning how to fit in, learning how to not fit in sometimes if it's not going, you know what I mean? Like standing up for yourself, whatever, like that stuff. Yeah. And then you have the letters on the wall and you practice to read and all that stuff. But like these overall arching, even the language thing, like I know you're like, your kids like know Spanish from that stuff though, right? Like it worked. They like can speak Spanish.
Yeah, slowly. I wouldn't say fluent. I don't know. I don't speak Spanish, so I have no idea.
So you don't know if they're just making it up around you. They're like, and you're like, I don't know if they really know it. I mean, I can't confirm. That could be the wrong. That could be the wrong tense they're speaking in. It was funny because this guy Zach who was opening for me. He's a funny guy, and he was like, I mentioned the French immersion thing, and he goes, "Oh, I know a girl who was in one of those," and I was like, and then he goes, or she told me she was in it. Oh, and he goes, "Oh, what?" He's like, "I don't think it worked out for her." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "I asked her what she did. She's like, I work in a bar." He goes, "Oh, cool." It's like, "Is it a French bar?" And she goes, "No." Just so mean. Is it at least a French bar? No, it's Buffalo Wild Wings. But yeah, I just think we put too much. Everyone's trying too hard. It's like, I think getting your kid in a thing early before kindergarten is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
But other than that,
yeah, so they can learn to be around people, and they aren't.
Yeah, learn how to like share and all that stuff. Be a human being in a society. They'll do the hard learning later.
At Phoebe's pre-K, they'll send like there's an app, and then they'll say, "Oh, your child was posted in a picture," and then if something happens, they'll send out a like Phoebe was involved in an incident, and it'll show like a close up of like a scratch on her neck. It'll be like, Edie put down a toy and another kid wanted it, but Edie wasn't done and she used it, and so the kid scratched her. But they won't tell you who the other kid is. Isn't that sort of?
That sounds like
what?
We don't want anyone to think we scratch your kid. So it's just like, let me throw these other kids under the bus. They're just total narcs now. Because how did we do anything like that? Now I'm going to sound old. I'm going to sound really old. But how did we do anything before these smartphones? Like when you were a kid and you came home with a scratch in your neck, did anyone was it even like, did it get brought up?
Yeah, nobody gave a shit. Yeah.
I mean,
if I didn't bring it up myself, nobody knew or cared.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just funny to me that now we have to like,
yeah.
I don't know if it's for the best or whatever, but I think But anyway, I'm backing you up. We don't need these.
All right, my turn to
That's
back you
for
up.
sure. Okay. And with all that, I forgot
what do we got?
I've got it. Oh, this is good for us, I think. So, there's like this whole like vein of, I think, like humor or like a common joke about certain authors, like John Grisham or who's another one who writes
Nicholas
like
Sparks?
Nicholas Sparks, or someone who just writes like a ton of books that people love, like airport book authors,
like that lady
Cheap
that
Mysteries.
did all those mysteries.
Yeah, like M is for Murder or whatever.
Yeah.
And then people talk about them like they're these morons, or just these like hammering out this cheap drivel for
color by numbers books.
Yeah, exactly. Here's what I need backup on. If you wrote any book, like, and it's over 50 pages and there's no pictures or anything, you're smarter than all the people making fun of you.
Yes.
Now, if you're Hemingway or something, feel free, tee off on Dan Brown or whatever.
Yeah.
But unless you've actually written a book that's better or longer than these other, do you know how hard it would be? Like what if we tried to write a movie on a podcast, we quit after 3 episodes. There
Yeah, we couldn't keep track of the plot.
To come up with a whole story and like have it make just any kind of like, they're like, well, this doesn't make sense, this isn't realistic, just to have it actually like they have the same name throughout the whole book, like
Yeah.
and sometimes, well, I remember one time I was trying to write a screenplay and all of a sudden like later the name was different because I would take so much time off between writing it, and then I'd go back like, Jerry, who's Jerry? And then I go back and like, oh, that was supposed to be Kevin from like the first half of this. Just like switch the name. So if like you have all that figured out and it's like, and you know what I mean? You're smarter than 99.99999% of the population, who, by the way, doesn't even read. Forget writing.
Right.
Most of us don't even read.
Yeah. You ever like some of those like Stephen King's where it's like, 900
That's another
pages,
example.
1,000 pages. Oh,
people have the balls.
Like, how does he remember how it even started?
People have the balls to make fun of Stephen King. Have you ever heard people make fun of Stephen King? Like he's like a cheap author.
Yeah.
The audacity. This guy. And can I tell you something else? If he's so good and he writes so much that he actually writes himself out of being like a critical darling. Because the real key to being like not just a famous author, but being like a respected author is to like only write like 4 books your whole life. Like that's what you do. You like the great works of Johnny Beaner, and you take
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, you take like 20 years off. Take 20 years between books or something. And then everyone's like, oh, the classics. Like if Stephen King only had 4 books, and one of them was like It, and one of them was The Stand or whatever, everyone would go, oh my God, this guy, when's the next one? When's the next? And they would think he's like this genius. But because he has the discipline to sit down and write every single day of his life, they like take it away from him.
Yeah, it's like Kurt Cobain. If he didn't blow his head off, maybe he'd be a big joke. He'd turn into,
right. We would be making fun of him. Isn't it sad how Kurt Cobain? If Stephen King, isn't it sad? Isn't it sad how Kurt Cobain is doing reverse mortgage commercials now? Isn't that embarrassing?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Like if Stephen King had stopped after 5 books, maybe it'd be like, oh,
he's the greatest author of all time.
One of the greats. He should keep doing it. Yeah.
I actually, now that I'm talking about it, I think we should like reconsider how we can, because like if you're an athlete, like to get an athlete into the Hall of Fame, I don't know if there's like a literature Hall of Fame, but if there was, they use lots of different criteria, but there's like counting stats. So there's like, how many points did you score over your whole career, But then there's also like your greatness at your prime. So then they're like, well, how many times were you the most valuable player? How many times did you win a championship? Yeah. But if you look at Stephen King, just like the counting stats, like how many books he's written, how many books have been turned into movies, how many books have cultural resonance to this day, he like shits on all these other guys just by sheer volume.
Oh yeah, there's no one. Yeah, I mean, he's got books that have been made into movies multiple times. The same book,
right?
Multiple books,
and he's still going.
Yeah,
and he's still, you know what I mean? So all these other guys, like any snootiness I hear from now on, or like derision toward any author, I'm like, you better have written a book, and it better be freaking good. That's my new take, because it's I cannot imagine writing a whole book.
I think about every time I read a book, I think about how hard it would be to write.
That's why I think I just landed on this, because I just finished that Devil in the White City. See, now I remember it. I just finished it. The one I was telling you about before, and then your brother told me what the name was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's why, because it's like this, it's like history, it's all true. And then he had to research.
Yeah.
And then, in the back, when they write books like that, they like cite every, and I don't know why, for some reason I was like, it's crazy. How did he know all this? Or how did he, and I looked through, didn't read the whole thing, but I just looked through all the sources he cited. I'm like, I could never, never in my life.
No way.
It was just hundreds of other things that he had to read to write a book.
Yeah.
So
no way. So I totally back you up.
I'm team author.
Team author.
Team author from now on. Anyway,
oh, I forgot to mention this.
Oh,
I forgot to mention this in pre-show banter, but I did. I haven't done this in a long time, but I waited in line. I got up really early and waited outside of a store on Record Store Day for Vine to
Taylor
buy,
Swift.
Not Taylor Swift. Duncan Sheik. Duncan Sheik's first album, first time ever on vinyl. They only made 1,500 total. And then I got three others. I got a live Death Cab, a Jenny Lewis, and then I got the Pearl Jam one because they do like a weird splatter, pattern for the Record Store Day release. And I knew someone would, buy it. So I got those three, and I sold the same day. I sold the Death Cab one, and I sold but I got there like 3:30 in the morning, and just sat in a lawn chair. And it was already like 3 buildings away at 3:30 in the morning. There were people in sleeping bags and everything. And I was like, yeah, whatever. It's kind of fun and exciting to be around people, whatever, doing this dumb shit. And I watched the entire Killers of the Flower Moon on my phone in line. Just like how Martin Scorsese wanted it to be viewed.
What a hipster douche you were. You were waiting in line for a rare vinyl copy of some band I've never heard of, and watching Killers of the Flower Moon on your phone. Wow.
Have you seen the movie though? Did you see it?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
I want to, but I haven't. It's so long. I'm never up at 3 a.m. in front of a vinyl store.
I know that's like the perfect thing. It was like I can't sleep, but it's a real downer. It's
I think that's what stops me too. It's like if I'm gonna watch a 3.5 hour movie, it's like I don't also want to be like bummed.
Yeah.
The whole time. Is that what it is? It's like a whole movie of being bummed, right?
Yeah, it's just like
yeah.
It's an elimination of people.
It's tough. It's very tough. But I will see it because I just like Scorsese movies enough. I'll see it. Like I love The Irish. No one likes The Irishman, and I love The Irishman. And that's
I would like it more if it wasn't so long. It was such a truck to get through that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But who is this band? I've never heard of this band. The one.
Yeah, you have. It's Duncan Sheik is the guy. I mean, this came out when we were in, I don't know, grade school, high school. It's that song "Barely Breathing." It's from the 90s.
I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna look it up. Now wait, you sold the other 2 ones you got though?
Yeah, I got Death Cab for Cutie, like a live album that had never been released at all, and that was like $35, and then I sold it for $85. And then a Jenny Lewis one. I just really like Jenny Lewis, and I got this record, but all the songs from this record are on another album. It was just like a picture disc.
Did you buy them with the intention of selling them? Like, were you like looking to flip them?
The Death Cab one, I decided while I was in line, I was like, oh, I didn't know this was available. I'll buy that, and someone will buy it. But the Jenny Lewis I was going to keep, and then I posted just in case, and
you got a nice profit.
So I was like, and I'm posting the Pearl Jam one because I have a regular copy of that.
Do you have like a record player that plays this stuff? Like,
yeah, I have like a record player and a receiver and nice speakers up in the office. Yeah.
Man, see, you're living this whole other level. I always think that like that's one of the dividing lines of like a nice house versus like a crap hole. Is that
what is if they have
like
a
a
record
real
player?
record player and real speakers and like, you know, like we play things on our iPhones and then on a wire, like a portable Bluetooth speaker that we just move around the house. You know, it's like some
I
point,
think we do that more.
but we got to be
listen to
serious
on that.
adults at some point to get like an actual sound system or something, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like to really level up. You know that it's funny that you're like you've done that with the shoes a lot, like flipped them. You know, you're always like, I can turn a profit on this stuff. So Brant Tobler, the comedian, and former guest,
yeah,
I'm gonna go see him next weekend actually. But he, I was talking to him on the phone, you know, and he's like, "Man,
yeah,
I got this thing now." He's like, "I'm making $1,500 a week selling hats." I was like, "What?
Selling what?
Hats?" So he figured out there's some website. I cannot remember the name of it, but basically you do like a show, like you stream, and then it's like and then they'll auction off stuff. And so he goes to like the thrift stores or Goodwill, and they have the things where you can buy clothes by the weight, you know, and he'll just get a trash bag and go in the morning and pick out hats, like cool hats. And then
like
he'll
baseball hats or like fedoras.
No, like baseball hats mostly, I think. Like with like team logos. He's like the golf ones do good, or what just weird brands car brands you wouldn't think about or whatever.
Yeah.
Like people like. And then he's like, you start like, okay, $5, $6, and then people start bidding. And you know, he talks to him during it. I'm like, you're like, it's like you have your own QVC show, you know? He's selling hats. Yeah. He's a hat salesman.
What the hell? What is
he's
the
making
platform?
a ton of money.
YouTube or how's he do this?
No, it's not YouTube. I asked. It's gosh, I wish I could remember. He told me, but it's like there's some website meant for this, and you stream and then auction off stuff as you're like. It's basically, it sounds like QVC, you know, but then you can bid. You can bid and like, and then he can talk to you as your bid. He can see that you bid and like call you out or whatever.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, but I mean, like
$100 a week.
You can pull down 15. That's what he said. I don't know. Maybe there's good weeks and bad weeks. I don't know. But I was like, man, it's not horrible. I mean, and he likes. I think it sounds like you kind of like it too. But I think he likes the game of that thrift. You know, of like, I can buy it for cheap and turn it around and sell it for more. You know, so we've always like, anytime we've been on the road, he likes to hop in thrift stores and look for stuff. So I think it suits him anyway, but he found a way to make money off a hobby. It's pretty good.
Yeah, dude. Nice.
I was like, I got to bring my hats down. Take a percent, let you sell these, take a little percentage. I got some hats.
Some hats you're done with?
Yeah, I got some hats I'm done with. Okay. That's it.
Oh, that was good 4 years.
Yeah, good 4 years. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. Where are you gonna be?
All right, I'm gonna be in Bedford, Pennsylvania on the 3rd. I thought this was a private gig, so I have not been mentioning it. It is not. It is a fundraiser show that they really want people to go to. And I don't think I even had it on my website.
Sounds like we're going to have another
Bedford, Pennsylvania.
Another empty parking lot in Bedford, Pennsylvania, folks.
Bedford, Pennsylvania, and then Montreal, the 16th through the 18th. Comedy Nest. That'll do it.
Cool. That'll be fun. I'm going to be May 2nd here in Portland, Oregon, Gigantic Brewing. Thursday, May 2nd. And then on the 4th, I'll be in Edmonds, Washington for a fundraiser as well. And I cannot remember the name. I think it's the Performing Arts Center in Edmonds, but I'll get it up on my calendar. So if you're up there and it's for some sort of cause, what cause? It's a great question. I am doing it for the money, so I do not know.
Nice.
There you go.
There you go, folks.
Thank you, everybody. 4 years. Any final?
4 years. Let's do it
Any
again.
thoughts?
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. We'll see you next week. Thanks everybody for listening to
Like Cavalry.
The Cavalry.